Hi everybody, Adam here. Welcome back to our Lego room. We have reached an awesome milestone here. We have finished off all of the construction on our new elevated train layout. Really excited about this. I think it's going to be an amazing addition to the Lego room. I'm figuring now that there's roughly 75 feet of Lego train track spanning this entire new elevated layout. So much track, and really excited to see how this works. I've not yet run trains around the entirety of the layout. We've actually only run trains from back around that corner, around this half of the room over there. This new section by the bookcase here and the new section that spans across the bulkhead have not been tested yet with running trains. Should all be fine. Fingers crossed. Really excited to put this new track layout through its paces. First off, though, I will give you guys a quick tour of all the different sections of the upper layout, and we'll talk a bit about the new section here that spans across the bulkhead. So let's jump in and take a closer look. A really cool vantage point from up here on the elevated track layout. Some interesting views of the Lego room in general and of the main tabletop layout. Really cool to see everything from this vantage point. I think it'll be cool to end up putting together a camera car for the Lego trains that run up here. See the room from the trains moving around. I think that would be really cool. Also think it would be a really cool idea to add some sort of static mounted cameras around the sort of framework that makes up the base of the elevated layout. Now, one of the key things to take note of, you'll see there are two mainline tracks that run around the entirety of the elevated layout. We have a single crossover on the sort of middle of the elevated track section above the bookcases over there. That's the only crossover point where trains can move from one mainline track to the other. In terms of curved track, we are using R104 and R120 curves on all of the corners, and pretty much 99% of the track that is up here is all Trix Bricks track, both the curves and the straight track. The nice thing about using the 104 and 120 curve radius means that, even though currently we've been running our red Lego train there, which can run on Lego curves pretty much as well as any other curves, it does mean that we can basically, once we get comfortable with the stability and the sort of smoothness of the ride here, we can put any one of our Lego trains up on that track and run it around the entire elevated layout. Really happy about that. I'm a big fan of the R104 and R120 curved track pieces, and it was really a given for me when I wanted to put this together that I was going to use those curve radiuses just to give us these, ideally the smoothest corner sort of performance for the trains that are running up there, and to give us the maximum flexibility with what trains we can actually run up there. So really happy with that. I think it'll be great to have that flexibility of using any one of our trains up there. Should be a lot of fun. Now, as I mentioned, this wall that runs along here above the grain elevator and the edge of our city, we've got the T-junction there. This was the last section of shelving and track that we added and then did a test drive on. And that test drive was on the outer track there. So we've not tested the inner mainline track yet, but we've also added a nice big long stretch here that goes over the bookcases. You can see the crossover that I mentioned there. That's our 4D bricks crossover. Really happy with that. I think it'll be nice to have a way to move trains via track infrastructure from one side of the main line to the other. And then with that, we have added also the track that spans the middle of the room there on the bulkhead, which was both challenging and not as challenging as we thought it might be. You can see that this bulkhead part of the elevated layout, we've got everything mounted off the edge over here. And then we have frames that we built here that are spaced pretty much every foot across the entirety of the bulkhead there until you get to the back half where it starts to turn towards the corner over there and off towards where our Acro Mills containers are. Inside those frames, that's plywood, same plywood we've been using around the entire elevated layout there. Couple things of note, in addition to mounting really well at the end here, we have a bit of wood sort of going over the top there that allows us to screw into the top of those frames and give things a little bit of extra hold from above there. We used glue, a special type of glue to connect these frames to the bulkhead. There's actually some duct work in there. Did not want to puncture any of the duct work, so we avoided any screws that go into the actual bulkhead itself. But there are screws into both the plywood track there, or plywood track base there, and the framework piece that comes across the top. Feeling pretty good about the stability of that. It'll be interesting to see trains run back and forth over top of that, just to put everything, to sort of prove out everything and how we expect it to behave. You'll notice over here that we turn and then go around the corner over there. We did a partial turn there because there was not enough room to fit a full R104, R120 corner coming around there and then having another full one to come around here. So we actually use half of the 104, 120 curved track over there to begin the corner, and then the other half here to go back to the straightaway. So I think it worked out pretty well. I like the look of it. Really cool to kind of have it pretty much look like it's floating through the air there. And you'll see with the bigger frames here, those are screwed into the ceiling area there because there's no ductwork or anything underneath that. It was just this part of the bulkhead that we were trying to avoid because there's some ductwork that runs the entire length of that. So really happy with how this looks. I think this is going to really be the most impressive and exciting end of the upper layout to watch. It's just impressive to see will be impressive to see the trains coming across that section there above the city, the rail yard, etc. Should be a lot of fun. I think it's now time to try to do our first test run around the elevated layout. I'm going to run with one train to start with. We will use the train that we've been using for our previous tests, the red Lego train there using power functions. It's on the inner track. So there's the two mainline tracks. It's on the one closest to the edge. And theoretically, we should be able to start it over there and see it make its way around the entire room and ultimately start making some laps and putting the overall structure and system through its first full-scale test. So let's get that fired up. So the battery box is turned on. I think we're on the right channel. So let's see. Just to be a little... There we go. Fingers crossed this will go well. We can turn this up a little bit in terms of speed, but I'm going to let it go fairly slowly for this first one, just to see what happens here and make sure that hopefully everything is all good. If anything is not good, I won't be able to probably have time to react quick enough to it anyways, but we will see. So cool to see. Here we are coming up on the elevated track over the middle of the room. That is so awesome. So awesome to see. Coming around. It's performing well. Everything is holding up. That is awesome. That's even better than I'd hoped for. That looked really cool. Going over the middle of the room there from the hanging part of the layout on the bulkhead. And we're coming back to where we started. Wow. So that's the first full circuit of the Lego room elevated track layout, and performed even better than I could have hoped for. That was really smooth. I think what we need to do now is turn up the speed a little bit and see if we can maintain that great performance, over a few laps here at a higher speed. Going a little faster this time. There's one part of the track that I just want to see. Like, this is the part you just want to see over and over again. It looks so cool when it comes around that corner there. Awesome. So cool. Let it run around the room a couple more times here, but then think the next thing to do is to try having something running on the inner track as well as I guess on the outer sort of inside wall track as well as that outer part of the main line. See with 2 trains if anything shows any issues. Really don't think anything should. It's all really, really stable and secure. So cool seeing it come down to the elevated section here down the bulkhead. Looks even better than I could have hoped for. Definitely think it's going to be cool to have that camera car and to put in probably a couple of sort of fixed camera points. You can see maybe mounting a couple of GoPros off a couple of corners of the elevated layout there would give us some interesting footage for the elevated track there, but also, like I said, just an interesting way to view the mainline, tabletop layout as well. That looks so awesome. So we've got our Brickmania trolley running along up there. I think there's probably going to be a couple spots where maybe that outer track is a little close to the wall or to the brackets. Might be a couple spots I have to adjust a little bit, but it seems to be doing pretty good. That seems pretty good. It made an entire loop. That's something, even if there's a little bit of tweaking that I have to do. Yeah, I can hear a little bit of maybe sort of bumping against something over there. Oh, they're both gonna go across the bridge at the same time. It's not really a bridge, I guess, just the hanging part of the track, but that's still really cool. That's awesome. Really happy with how things are performing here. Looking from a different vantage point here. Really happy with how both of the trains and the track in general are performing. I did, in between that last portion of the video and this one, I did make a few adjustments over here. I just pulled out the track a little bit away from a couple of the brackets that were up there. The trolley was just catching a bit as it was going by there. We'll see if that adjustment was enough. Yeah, it's not bad there. You could probably just make a couple more small tweaks, but pretty happy with how that is working. So cool to see both of them coming across that elevated section there. It will definitely be cool when we can get some active camera angles from up there. Like I said, some static corner ones, and then even, you know, having a camera mounted on a train car. Really, really happy with how this is working. Everything I hoped it would be. And there's still some room for some additional improvements and various work that we can do up there. On that back wall, the shelf area is wide enough that I think we could fit some buildings and some scenery in behind there, which might be kind of cool. The next train that I will probably try to put through its paces on the upper layout here is going to be the Union Pacific. We'll do that in a follow-up video. Yeah, I can hear there's a couple spots still where I think it's just touching against a couple of brackets. Can tweak that a little bit. I think that having the elevated track there is also going to be useful. I could see hanging some plain models, some plain Lego models off of maybe some of that back section over there would be kind of cool. I don't think I would necessarily add anything underneath this part here, just because I don't want to put any extra strain on that, even though really happy with how secure it is and how just looks very sturdy, no issues at all. It's really come together even better than I could have hoped for. Basically, the next test really for this section here will be just running a couple of larger trains over it at the same time. Not really thinking anything will happen there. Like I said, I think it's pretty secure and stable, but we will keep running tests and seeing just what we are able to do. But this is awesome. Another couple of mainline tracks that we can use for actively displaying and running trains around the Lego room. Really happy with that. We've also been making a lot of progress with our underneath table layout, so we will update you guys on that again really soon. And then the other big thing coming up, now that we've got the elevated track in place, need to do a pass at really tidying up the tabletop of our sort of main layout here in the Lego room, and getting back to work on the city and the rail yard and a number of the other projects that we have on the go there, as we are heading back into Lego convention and show season. So looking to display at least a couple shows this year, which should be a lot of fun, but always a lot of work. So we should get, we got lots of stuff ahead there to finish up builds for displaying there, both in terms of actual layout modules, but also in terms of train cars, locomotives as well. So lots of fun stuff ahead in the Lego room itself, but across the channel as a whole. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please make sure to do so that you don't miss out on any of our upcoming videos. And thank you very much for watching. We will see you again soon. Take care. Bye.